Show later. Welcome to another episode of the G Show podcast. I am G1 and this is the Godzilla Block Party. And you know, the party ain't stopping when we're talking about Godzilla because we are in part 2 of the Big G 65th anniversary. And part 2 after we did part 1 yesterday, which was the Showa movies. Part 2 is now the next and best series of them all, the HEISEI series. Yeah, baby. And here we go. Before we get into all of that, let me introduce you to the cast of characters in the Godzilla Block Party. Joining me today, as always, is my right hand when it comes to Godzilla on the G Show, G73, my brother Chase. You know him as Megzy. What's up, brother?
Not much, man. Just waiting for Godzilla vs. Kong like every other Godzilla fan.
We shall be waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting.
And it's never coming out.
It's not. I think it's a fable now. It's a fabled tale. It'll be told in comic book format, which, you know what, I might not be mad at. So,
it's going to go straight to Netflix.
Straight to Netflix and the anime. I'm down for that. Also joining us, he is back from his remember, he wasn't drunk. He wasn't drunk. He wasn't in a drunken stupor. He was recuperating from a very long birthday-filled month, and he celebrated Godzilla's birthday with the Criterion Collection. That's right, Gam Z1 is here joining us now for Godzilla's 65th anniversary part 2. What's up, Gams?
You're wrong. Joe is better. I should have been here for the first part.
Oh, you should have been, but you know what?
Don't go to sleep when it's like 4 in the afternoon, brah.
Yeah, brother. Listen, all I know is the invite went out, and you did not answer the call on your favorite movie series of all time. That's not our fault. We did it justice.
I'm glad I'm here now.
Yeah, I'm glad.
So I could be the one beacon of light in this circle jerk fest of the actual inferior series.
Right. We're not talking about the Shayra, Rayro, whatever yet. We're not there yet. So you just relax.
No, we're not talking about the Rawawa series or whatever.
No, that's the very bottom.
Listen, don't worry about
it. This is still the second verse.
The very bottom. I love it.
We're talking about like the series that's good that doesn't involve Shin Godzilla.
Right.
But it's not good, so here we go.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Let's rock and roll, because apparently Games is really teed off that he slept through the podcast. That's not our fault, ladies and gentlemen. That's his. But jump started. Listen, we ended yesterday with Terror of Mechagodzilla, and I said I loved it. It's one of my all-time favorites, top 5 movies. It resonated so much with me. It showed Godzilla straight up strong styling and kicking Titanosaurus and Mechagodzilla's ass all over the place, even though he was getting his butt kicked halfway through the movie. But just an all-around great film. Shiro Honda ended it. It comes full circle. It went from, scary horror movie with a message to Godzilla fighting the robotic version of himself. And then Shiro Honda, to me, brought it full circle. That was it, ladies and gentlemen. It was over. The Godzilla series has come to an end. Godzilla swims off into the sunset, and we never see him again. Until 1984, when Toho resurrects the Big G as the badass he is, the scary version of Godzilla, hitting the big screens. Now, in Japan, it was called Gojira. In more circles nowadays, it's called Return of Godzilla. But us Americans, we got it as Godzilla 1985. Bringing back Raymond Burr, reprising his role as Steve Martin. Now, let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Make no mistake about it. This is by far, this is my favorite Godzilla movie of all time. It really is. I mean, if King of the Monsters is the greatest one, this is my favorite one. Okay? It is. I love this movie. This is the only Godzilla movie I watched on my birthday, where I usually do a Godzilla marathon. I only watched Godzilla 1984. That was it. I absolutely love this movie, from the aesthetic, the story, Godzilla himself, the roar, the music, the miniatures, just everything. And I'll put it like this. In 1985, I'm walking by a movie theater, and there's the poster for Godzilla 1985 in the movie theater. And I started screaming, "Oh, mom, please, take me." And my mom was like, "No. Did you see the trailers on the TV? I'm going crazy. Oh my God, please." No. I didn't get to see 1985 until it came out on home video. And I rented it. and I went, like, I was going batshit crazy because it was like, again, something I've never seen. I'm not used to this type of Godzilla movie. And at that point in time, I might have seen King of the Monsters only once. At that point in time. And this is a 7-year-old G1. And then the end of that movie happens and Godzilla screeches. No, he doesn't screech. He screams out in agony as he plunges into the deep, hot lava of Mount Mahara. And I'll tell you, I cried my eyes out. My 7-year-old self bawled like a baby. I was trying to hide my face so my parents wouldn't see, but I was hysterical on my floor in my living room, 7 years old, hearing Godzilla go down into that volcano after seeing such an amazing monster movie. I tell you right now, man, that movie it hits me in all the right ways. But G73, what about you, bro, man? You saw Godzilla 1985, man. What was your, response?
I'm surprised you didn't call child services on your mom. That's like abuse right there.
That's true.
1985 was one of those movies as a kid that I watched a lot. I love the Raymond Burr scenes. I watched the American dub the most. I didn't have the Japanese one, but I just love I love the scenes in the American dubbed one a lot, especially it's like a whole nother arc with Raymond Burr's character in it. Steve Martin coming back, and whereas 1954 is not on my favorite list or anything, to me, Godzilla in 1985 is that movie that's my King of the Monsters, whereas other people like the first one. This is where I like this one. And, I just remember as a kid, I would come home from school, sit down with a bowl of macaroni and cheese and a Dr. Pepper or Mr. Pibb and just watch this movie after school and just enjoy the hell out of it. And also get terrified at the very end because of the scream that Godzilla makes when he goes into the volcano. It just terrified me as a kid. So because of that, when I would get spooked out by that stuff, I would either fast forward or I would stop watching at that point. And
and you saved Godzilla's life. You saved Godzilla. That's a good.
Yep. In my mind, Godzilla did not go into the volcano.
Gams, what about you, man? What's your feelings on Godzilla 85?
Ooh. Well, Godzilla 85.
Or 84, 85.
It's a pretty okay dub. I don't particularly like any other of the American characters besides Raymond Burr.
Right.
Because Roger Corman wanted to make it into a comedy, and Raymond Burr was the one that saved it from turning into a straight up comedy because he was like, no, stop it. So I appreciated him for not turning it into a total joke fest. But The Return of Godzilla is my third favorite Godzilla movie of all time.
True.
Oh, the shot composition, story, the miniatures, it's just so good.
The Super X,
so good. I don't know what it is with me and the solo Godzilla movies, but. Right. I feel that Toho puts the most effort into the solo Godzilla movies, and it definitely shows in The Return of Godzilla. One of the highlight scenes for me is when Godzilla's first going through his rampage in Tokyo, and there's one shot where you can actually see Godzilla from the angle where you see his reflection from the buildings.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful shot.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful shot. Can't get enough of it. Can't get enough of it. Yeah, that blood-curdling scream is not the Japanese version. That is one thing that I feel the American version did superior. That whole ending sequence, I feel the American version is superior, with Raymond Burr's speech and all that.
Oh, yeah. Perfection.
But other than that, cannot recommend this movie enough. It's my third favorite in the franchise. I don't know what number you'd put it at, Chase. I know it's your number one, Ray. Just cannot get enough of it.
Yeah, no, I love it. So I mean, I guess we're all in agreement, man. This one definitely thumbs up, right?
Yeah, I was wanting to mention too that scene that Andrew was talking about. Whenever I watch that scene and you know the whole scene where he fights Super X, that the realism that I get from that scene is exactly the way I feel when the T-Rex from Jurassic Park shows up and breaks through the fence. It's one of those type of moments in a movie, and I just I feel the similarity of those tones, and it's one of my favorite parts too.
Awesome. I mean, all right. I mean, round of applause on Godzilla 1985, Return of Godzilla, Gojira 84. Definitely Toho comes out swinging.
Anybody who's on the fence, the Kraken Blu-ray's like $15 on Amazon. Go buy it.
And it's a fantastic Blu-ray. It's fantastic. Like the quality on it, man. I watched it. I watched it downstairs. I like to watch that movie No Line on my 40-inch Samsung because it just pops. I mean, this thing just pops out at me. I'm like, wow. But when I watched it, last week on my birthday, I'm watching it downstairs on the 4K, and I'm like, it's not a 4K movie, but holy crap! I'm like, wow, this is really, really something. But again, it's all right. It's definitely Toho starting with a bang. They swung, they hit a home run, they killed Godzilla. But then in 1989, oh my God. In 1989, you talk about a fanboy's wet dream coming true. And I gotta say it like that. Because again, you guys had the luxury of having these movies available to you by the time you came around into becoming Godzilla fans. Whereas at this point in time, starting with Godzilla 1985, that was the jump off for me. And anything that came out afterwards, I had no idea it was coming. We didn't know anything here in the States about that. There was no internet. If they were saying something in a magazine, like, I don't know, Famous Monsters or something, I didn't know because I wasn't getting it. So, and I was a kid. So, lo and behold, the shocking surprise when my brother calls me from the video store and says, hey, I'm bringing home a Godzilla movie. He's in the cover with a giant flower. Yo, shut up, man. There's no such thing. No, for real. Shut up, man. He goes, no, it's Godzilla versus something with a B. And I'm thinking, there's nothing. There's no Godzilla with a B. Bionic Monster, maybe? And I'm like, oh. He comes home. I'm like, what the hell? What the? Put it on, and it starts off where 84 left off. Come on, man. Stop the... I fell out. Now, at this time, it was 1989. No, it was 1990 when I first saw that movie. It was 1990. The VHS on a sticker said 1989. That's when they used to, they used to give you the dates when the movie was made. Mm. So I see 1989. I'm like, oh, what? I'm freaking out. Y'all, I thought this was a joke. I was like, somebody's playing the wool over my eyes. Put it on. It starts off with 84. I'm screaming like I couldn't believe it. And boom. Movie just goes into overdrive. And I don't care. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm just like, all right, there's these Arab dudes from Sarabia, and they're making super wheat. Okay, in the desert. Okay, where's Godzilla? Oh, they're holding Godzilla ransom. This crazy-ass terrorist group that's American, You had, like, everything was just awesome. It was like just the music in the beginning with the chase sequence. The dudes jumping out. Hey, guys, look here. And then they're shooting them with the machine guns. Like, I was like, this is a Godzilla movie. What am I watching? What? I loved it. And, of course, the big reveal, Godzilla coming out of Mount Mahara. Think about it, man. We talked about this yesterday, Chase. So, Games, we'll get into some of this, too, as we go along in the series. We talked about some of the most iconic shots in Godzilla movies. And in the Showa series, there are tons of iconic Godzilla shots and moments. And
I guess I already did one with 84.
Yeah, you did. But in Godzilla versus Biollante, you cannot. Godzilla coming out of Mount Mihara is such an iconic shot. And I watch it nowadays, and I love the movie still. But it's dated. It doesn't look... It could have looked better. You know what I'm saying? It could have been a little better. But the idea and the feeling I get every time I see that part, that shot, and then the music playing, you got the march in the back. Man, listen, hands down, I don't even care that Biollante was some stupid plant monster. I was like, what is that? Until the end when it comes Crocodile Dundee, I'm like, oh, okay, there's a monster. But I absolutely love Godzilla vs. Biollante, and Seriously, it has a lot to do with the idea that I never thought I'd see another Godzilla movie again. And when I got it, it was a direct sequel to the previous movie, and I had not ever seen that. Or I might have, but my brain didn't comprehend that Godzilla Raids Again had Dr. Yamane in it, and it was a direct sequel to 54. None of that mattered to me. All that mattered was, holy crap, Godzilla 84 opened this movie. And here's the continuation. I loved it. Chase.
This is my absolute favorite Godzilla movie. Godzilla vs. Biollante was the movie as a kid that I probably ruined my VHS copy of because I watched it every day, every night. That was my favorite Godzilla movie. Just I don't know what it was, but as a kid, I just loved that movie a lot. The tone, the feel, just the imagery, and just I don't know. It still is my favorite Godzilla movie. I don't get tired of Godzilla versus Biollante. That movie had several, not just one or two glorious shots of Godzilla, but there's several big moments in that movie. Even at first with the beginning of the flashbacks to the 85, the part where they go into the school and the kids have Godzilla drawings because they dreamt of Godzilla the night prior, and it was in their nightmares. That scene alone was just riveting for me, and and then on top of Godzilla coming out of the volcano, and then him, in Osaka, at night. I just loved it as a kid. That movie had just so much Godzilla themes in it that I just, it's just one of my favorites. I have nothing bad to say about it. All the way up till the ending and everything. Yeah, I enjoyed it, but there's just too much about that movie that I like. The design of the suit. I love the part where the military's trying to raise his temperature, and they set up trap for him during his path, and it's the nighttime and it's rain, and it's towards the end of there before he fights Biollante. I love that scene so much. It's one of my favorites. I just and the message to that movie too that I picked up as just no matter how hard you try, you can't really kill Godzilla. And the fact that a terrorist organization is holding Godzilla hostage, that's just kind of messed up, because it's like, if you don't do what we want, we'll unleash death upon you guys. We aren't using any weapons. We're just going to blow up the volcano and set this thing free because it's going to screw you guys over. It's just perfect. I just love this. The movie entertains me. My favorite Godzilla movie.
Gams.
Godzilla versus Biollante. By far, my fourth favorite Godzilla movie. Oh boy! This is basically like neck and neck with Godzilla 85. The Heisei series is starting so strong with these two entries. The cinematography in the Osaka Rampage is so good. The low angles, the fact that whenever you look at the actual suit proper, they have the lighting just so like they obscure his eyes, so he looks menacing like 24/7. It's so good. Biollante, especially her final form, is one of the most impressive pieces of practical effects I've ever seen in my life.
Clap the hands for that one. Clap the hands for that one. Absolutely.
It's so good. They put 110% effort into this sequel, and I cannot commend Toho enough for it. Yeah, Akira Ifukube does not like BioWars for what it did to the original theme, but guess what, Akira Ifukube? You're wrong, because BioWars is a bot.
I don't know about all that. I like it. It fits the tone of the movie when that's used. It fits. It's a very kinetic a piece of music, And then those shots are very kinetic. Like, you're just like, oh, it's action, oh, we're going. And of course, when you use the original march to perfection, Mount Mahara and Godzilla. I mean, just like, there it is.
And it if you watch it without the dub, it has some of the greatest instances of Toho hiring American actors, and they don't know how to direct American actors, and it sounds goofily amazing.
Listen, that Godzilla vs. Biollante has some of the most quotable lines in all of Godzilla history, and my favorite one is, "Son of a bitch, it's the Zev's Iranian agent again." I love it, yes.
You have an excellent laboratory.
That's so not right, bro. That's how he
said it.
That's so not. Are you talking about the original version, not the dub?
Yeah, I'm not talking about dub.
That's so not right. Where's it good? Where's it good? Oh, that's messed up. I love him. You leave him alone. I love that damn. I love it. But yeah, that is actually funny. That is. Oh my god, that is messed up. So another round of applause. Heisei's on the street. 2-0. 2-0. Like, it's on a streak. Godzilla is in the mainstream 90s. It is here. Where
the only thing that I'm sad about is that Miramax only printed one printing of their Blu-ray. Miramax, print another printing of your Blu-ray so people could buy it.
Yo, you're right. Holy crap. I never thought of that. No wonder why I see that movie for like $3,000 on like eBay. Like, what? I got that. I'll give it to you.
I got it for like $10.
Yeah, I got it for $10.
It was cheap back in the day, but now it's not.
I got it like during 2014's run.
And you know what's crazy? When you get a movie like that, it's such a good movie for that price. In that company. Dude, it's a godsend, man. It's definitely one of the best ones in the entire series. And like I said, I watching it now, and it's just me, I feel it might be just a little overrated. I still enjoy it every time I watch it, though. It's not like I sit there and I'm like, oh god, I got to get through this, because like Gam said, man, there's so many really fun lines, especially in the original language. It's just perfect. But that all being said, oh wait, I will be remiss if I did not mention this. Godzilla vs. Biollante also introduced us to the greatest Godzilla female character of all time. I don't care what anybody says. Miki Saragusa, I love you to death. I love you to death. I love you to death.
There's a reason why Miki is in like every Godzilla's fan's top 10 waifus.
Oh yeah. And it only gets better because in the next round, Toho says, you know what we need to do? What? What do we need to do? We need to bring back the King of Terror. And thus we get Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. Now let me tell you something, brothers. I'll never forget.
Holding it here.
You did that. You heard that, right? I'll never forget the first time I saw Mecha King Ghidorah. I think it was the toy. What was the toy line that was doing that? Trendmasters.
Trendmasters.
And I was like, what the hell is that? What the hell is that? Because I had never seen it. I was like, what is that? Again, in my time, we only got Godzilla vs. Biollante was it. Yes, Godzilla got up at the end, and like Chase said, you can't kill Godzilla.
When the Trendmasters toys was coming out, you just thought that was like a cool thing that Trendmasters just came up with.
Pretty much. I was like, what is that? Because Mecha King Ghidorah, that's like retarded in a good way. Like, whoa, that's crazy. Like, who thinks of things like that? It's nuts. It wasn't until I got my first computer. Well, let me say, my parents got a computer for the first time, where I started to go online, and I'm like, I typing in Godzilla, as a fan, and I'm like, whoa, what's this? Because at first I'm reading fan fiction. I don't know what's going on. But then I'm seeing images, and I'm like, whoa, what? That's a production still. What is this? What? And it blew my mind. So, of course, after intensive research, I realized there was an entire saga now, because I think we got our first computer like in either 96 or 97. So at this point in time, Destroy is out already. But I'm like, what the hell is all of this madness that I need to sink my teeth into? And I finally, when we got that Christmas, yeah, so it was 96 we got the computer. Christmas of 97, I got the entire HEISEI series on VHS. My parents went to a convention, and they got every single one of them. So kudos. So when I finally, Christmas Day, got to, because my brother blew it. He was like, yo, Mom and Dad got you all of them. What? Where they at? Where they at? Where they at? I was trying bribing my brother. I was like giving him money. Where they at? Let's watch them. He's like, no, they sealed. Anyhow, cut to Christmas Day, and I was like, thank you, I'm out of here. I don't care what else y'all got. Hey, Merry Christmas, I'm going in the room. The first time I watched Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, it legitly messed me up. Like, you have no idea. Because this, ladies and gentlemen, is my absolute favorite version of Godzilla. And my absolute favorite costume, my absolute favorite everything. And this is my favorite Godzilla. And yes, the story is not as good as, let's say, Biollante, even though Biolante's still wonky a bit, but it's not as tight as Biolante's was. Mickey was the crux of it being a sequel, but then also Godzilla being like, oh, remember when they hit him with the anti-nuclear bacteria? He's chilling in his island, he never left. And, you know, whatever the case may be, but come on, man. Time travelers from the future who come to get rid of Godzilla because in the future he destroys mankind? Yes, the paradoxes are many. But at the end of the day, what saves this movie is A, the music, B, the designs of the costumes, and C, the miniatures. Good God almighty, those miniatures. I love them. I love that final battle between Godzilla and Mecha King Ghidorah. Good God almighty. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I don't care what you're going to hear from Game Z1 over there. This movie is fantastic. It gets the thumbs up from me. But I'm going to go to you, Chase, because I'm going to let Game get the final word on this entire SI series.
So, pretty much everything you said. Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah is my absolute favorite design. I always go back and forth because, of course, Godzilla in Biollante is supposed to be smaller, and then he's bigger in this one because, you know, the whole getting nuked by a submarine, destroying submarines, stuff like that.
Thank you, Shindo.
And I dig it, but I consider them both the same designs, even though they're slightly different. But the one in Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, that design, that burliness of him, how big, how broad, how monstrous he is, that is my absolute favorite design. And just, you can hear it in his roar.
Yes.
Just how just powerful of a brute he is. And I loved it. The movie as a whole, as a kid, I loved it. Want to know why? Because of dinosaurs.
Yes.
The Dinosaur Museum. Going back to an island. I was a big fan of Land of the Lost and dinosaur movies like that. I love going back when they go back to Ragos, if you will, whatever it's called. And Godzillasaurus is there. And the fact that I also was getting into Gamera at the time that I was seeing that movie, and Godzillasaurus had Gamera's roar. That was another thing. That movie had a lot of points that caught me on this, like, just on interest and nostalgia. The story, to me, the plot holes in the story, I don't care. I don't care about them at all. It's the matter of the fact is, as a kid watching it, I'm just worried about Godzilla fighting King Ghidorah. I don't care if there's a chocolate bar involved or a frog or a cat. Godzilla, just fighting something. That's all I was interested in. And as an adult, I still don't have issues with the film. I love the Spielberg, Oh. You can tell your son about it when he's born, Major Spielberg. I love that. That's a really, like, cool little thing.
The quotables just keep coming.
The movie has, the movie was fun for me. I enjoyed it. It's another one I don't get tired of. And man, that movie had one of the most emotional Godzilla scenes ever, too. When Godzillasaurus is dying and Shindo is like telling him, we can't save you, we're sorry, but we're thankful. And then Godzilla facing him when he's attacking Tokyo. I think it's Tokyo.
Yeah.
And when he's sitting there in the building and Godzilla has a tear run down his face and then just obliterates him. That message was so disheartening to me, but I loved it. I thought it was great. The music, adding the song "Farewell to Dinosaurs" to it, it just was an emotional ride, and I love it. It was fun. It was cool seeing familiar faces with Mickey Segusa. And the guy who was the Super X controller in Biollante is now a book writer, which was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But, I had fun with it. I thought it was great. But what really got me was the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs. Yeah. I was into Jurassic Park really big. Everything, Land of the Lost, Land Before Time. Dinosaurs was the main thing. And that movie was it's just called Godzilla Dinosaurs. Let's just put it that way. And
I want to see that movie now.
It's on one of my top fives.
Nice, man. And again, like we was talking about quotables in Biollante, this one might actually have the most quotables of all. Biollante has some of my favorite, but come on. Take that, you dinosaur. Game over. You can. Your turn, Gams.
Okay. Godzilla versus King Ghidorah.
Remember, this ain't a review.
I know it's not. Let me just preface. I agree with most of things you guys are saying. The suit is fantastic. Gido Goji, as the suit is called, is probably the definitive Godzilla suit.
Awesome.
It is fantastic. King Ghidorah. That suit is fantastic. Mecha King Ghidorah looks amazing. Akira Ifukube coming back to score the Heisei era from now on, except for one. His score in this movie, fantastic. The miniatures are still on point. Probably even better than they were in Biollante. That scene with Shindo, very good, very well shot. Pulled on the heartstrings. A lot of great things with this movie. Still shit.
Okay. Go ahead.
It's still garbage. It's still full of holes. It's not even Swiss cheese. It's just one big hole in a Swiss cheese.
We call that camp. By the way, we call that camp.
I call it the worst time travel movie ever made.
I won't argue with that.
Doc Brown would fucking roll in his grave.
I won't argue. I would say it was the worst Godzilla time travel movie ever made.
Rebirth of Monster 3 wasn't much better.
Man. So you're mad at this movie because of time travel?
I'm mad at this movie because it makes no sense.
Because of time travel?
Yeah. Okay. Toho never touched time travel ever again. Ever again. Don't do it. You don't know how to write it.
They did in Shin Godzilla. Yeah. That movie was a reboot of 54.
Yeah, time travel. I'm gonna take your tears in this beer that I'm drinking and
drink them up.
Drink them up.
Because okay. I'm pretty sure there's others down the line that you can make an argument for as the worst Godzilla of the HEISEI series. But there's no way, and nothing you just said can convince me, and I'm pretty sure my brother Chase...
I'm not trying to convince anybody.
You're trying to convince!
I know I'm in the minority for hating this movie. And I will sit on my little pillar screaming, Godzilla versus King Ghidorah sucks! Until the end of time with nobody listening to me, and I don't care.
I will say
Godzilla just steps on you and then sends you back in time and then time again.
I will say this, ladies and gentlemen. If there was one thing Gamgamzy1 had told me off camera, off record, is when we get to that Godzilla versus King Ghidorah review, and if he's not on it, he's going to personally come down here and try to kill me. So you know he's going to be on it, and when we do that review, I'm going to let him have a 20-minute tangent.
I'm going to write notes.
Just as long as he's not asleep.
As long as he's not asleep.
I'm going to write notes.
All right.
We'll have to go back in time.
Yeah, we gotta pick up younger you.
I will say this: Godzilla versus King Ghidorah is the worst Terminator movie.
All right, we're gonna get into that in the review. We'll get into that in the review, and that's really not the case. But so we got 2 yays, 1 nay.
But yeah, like everything else with the movie that's not the actual story is a thumbs up for me. But if you're an actual fan of stories and movies, it's thumbs down.
All right. Well, 2 yeas, 1 nay. That's fine with me. Let's go to 1993. Was it 93? No, 92. And, oh boy, here we go. Godzilla versus Mothra, subtitle, Battle for Earth. Okay, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Out of the entire HEISEI series, this is my favorite comedy of them all. And I'll say because I absolutely love my main man who's supposed to be Japanese Indiana Jones. I loved it. I can't lie. The way this movie opens up and the dude is, robbing a temple and then he grabs what he got to grab and then the temple starts falling apart. It's so Indiana Jones ripoff and I absolutely eat it up. That's going to be a continuing theme when we keep going down the list of movies, when we get into Millennium, especially the ripoffs and how I love them. I ate it up when they come because he's in the jail in Thailand and he's like, I don't care, I'll be out of here in a couple of days or something. And they're like, no, you're going to be in here. You destroyed the temple. You'll be in here for whatever, how many times. And he starts screaming to his ex-wife and he's like, Masako-san! That is hysterical to me. To this day, Mr. Ando is hysterical. The way he wakes up and he fiddles with his lawnmower. Just being the businessman, the suit, and out of his element. I love this movie. I even love Mothra's design. I love Batra, for instance. What I don't like about Batra, though, you bitches.
Oh no, he's gonna say it.
It's coming. It's the fact that they couldn't give him his own iconic roar. No, what they had to do, they had to steal Rodan. You had to steal Rodan's roar? Really? And Michael Dougherty, you couldn't even put Batra's roar attached to Rodan in Godzilla King of Monsters. I can't stand that movie, but that's later on in this. I digress. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes I get really aggravated because y'all know I love Rodan.
Ray, take your blood pressure.
But I love the Batra design. I really did. I love the idea of a dark Mothra. I really dug all of these things they introduced in this movie. And I absolutely love this Godzilla design too. It's not my favorite, but it's my second favorite silhouette of the entire Godzilla saga. My second favorite silhouette. The first being 84, 85, and then this one. I should stop saying 84, 85. It's just 84. 84s, and then this one. Because when Godzilla is walking by the volcano, and it's a silhouette shot, you can't really see all the detail. That is an absolute gorgeous shot of Godzilla.
Shame they reused it in a worse movie.
We'll get to that. Now, what I don't like about this movie, and this is kind of why it's like low on the totem for me in terms of these movies, I didn't like the idea of them taking away Godzilla's classic monstrous bell-like lion roar. Like, they went back, and I think maybe it was because it would scare little kids that came to see Mothra, but freaking Batra's a scary-looking creature as it is. What are you doing? Right? So, I was upset with that, and I was upset with when Godzilla spits its atomic flames. It sounded like a beam. And I understand the whole term beam wars when associated with the HEISEI series, but this movie in particular, when Godzilla blew his atomic breath, it was a beam. I didn't like it. Sounded like a beam. I never liked it. I always liked Godzilla's roar sounding like a blowtorch. So, this one it's more in the middle for me. It's a middle ground movie. It's not a thumbs up. It's definitely not a thumbs down. But it's like I like this movie. I tolerate it. And when I do go on my whenever I do go on a Godzilla marathon, this movie definitely gets put in there because again I like to laugh at that dude. And yeah, that's my take on Godzilla vs. Mothra. Chase.
Battle for Earth. Another movie that had a lot of great sequences, but there was also there was a few things that I didn't care about, but I know it's hard because I go back and forth. I will say this movie was probably the most annoying out of the Heisei series, and I was because I got really annoyed with the fairies singing so much. And I loved it. And I think Toho caught on to it. Like, even Toho was getting annoyed with it. Because when they had Godzilla roar when the fairies are singing and they stop, like, That's my favorite part in the movie because that's how I feel. Like if I could roar, I would do that and tell people to shut up. I love the idea of them going to an island and it's Indiana Jones style, and they have to get an egg and bring it back and stuff like that. The movie was very interesting on politics, and I thought that was interesting. But for the most part of it, I did not like Godzilla's design. There's just something about his bear-like looking face. Remind me of Winnie the Pooh, and it irritates me. And that's kind of a recurring thing for the rest of the Heisei series for me. Is for a few of them, Godzilla's design kind of bothers me a little bit. But getting rid of all of that, the movie as a whole, one of my favorite shots in that movie is when he comes out of the volcano and the helicopter's on him and he's walking down the ground, down the mountain, and they're like, "How did he survive? Molten lava?" And it's like, this is just one of the things that we will never understand about Godzilla. I just love that because Godzilla was at that point a mysterious monster that is literally a force of nature, and nature cannot kill itself. And I just thought that was great. That's one of my favorite parts, But, I also had issues with Batra. I get confused. Don't call something Batra and it not be a bat.
Yeah, in that regard, I agree.
I've always wanted to see Godzilla fight a bat, in the Toho series. So I was, Batra's not my favorite enemy, but the thing is to me, Mothra versus Godzilla Battle for Earth is more of a Mothra movie than it is a Godzilla movie. So that's where I put it. As a Godzilla movie, I don't care for it. As a Mothra movie, I'm lenient, I'm tolerant, but it's nowhere on my favorites list.
Gotcha. Gams.
Godzilla vs. Mothra is a weird one. It's a weird one. Like, it's not horrible. It's not great neither. You could remove Godzilla from the plot entirely, and not much would change.
You're right.
Not much would change at all.
You could substitute King Kong in that movie for Godzilla, and the vote would change.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But it's got some cool things about it. I mean, I like Batra, and by the way, Chase, Batra is short for Battle Mothra.
I didn't know that.
Yep. But yeah, Batra's cool. The world needs more Batra. That old name.
It should be called Dothra or something like that, like Dark Mothra. I would have bought that more than Battle Mothra. That would have been
a cool name. But yeah, Batra's cool. The Mothra's design is a little too cutesy, a little too fluffy for my taste. And the puppets on the wires for Mothra and Batra could have been done better.
Yeah, the wings. Definitely the wings.
A little too stiff.
Yeah.
Too stiff.
100% agree with that.
This is the point in the Heisei series where Godzilla started to go from thick to fat.
Stop that.
It's not bad in Mothra, but it started to go downhill from there.
You're bugging. There's only one.
I too was jarred from the fact that they go from the roar that was used from '84 to King Ghidorah back to the Showa-esque roar. And that was a little jarring. The atomic breath sounding like a laser, that was weird. It's got a lot of weird things to it, and I think it's mostly because, it's because Godzilla was out at the last minute. Let's be honest.
This was the original Mothra movie.
Yeah, it was. I guarantee you that the script did not have Godzilla in it until the very last minute.
Oh my god!
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
But what Godzilla did do in the movie, especially at the climax where Godzilla just shows up out of the volcano and just screams, "My movie now, bitch!"
Pretty much.
That whole sequence where like they're snaking the camera that digital 90s CGI towards Godzilla, and then it turns into the actual camera shot. That I kind of find that cool, even though the 90s CGI is a little cringe.
I still love that. I love that 90s CGI.
Oh yeah, it's a really cool shot. But as for recommendations, I mean, if you're going to do a Heisei binge, why not? It has elements in it that show up in later movies. So,
all right.
It's not 100% filler like another movie that we're going to get to.
Just the fact that it's a continuation of the story. Of the Heisei story, then watch it.
Yeah, and it does connect. It does connect. I mean, they bring these things back in a later movie. So as for me, it's not a thumbs up, it's not a thumbs down, it's a E. So it's in the middle. So like me and you agree, it's a middle. Yeah, it's a middle of the road movie. You'd watch it if you're doing a marathon, but it's not. It's not the one that gets you all hyped up.
It's not something I get out of bed and going, I'm gonna watch Godzilla versus Mothra today.
I do that every now and then. I can't lie. I'll wake up and like, you know what? I gotta watch this movie for no other reason than I just gotta watch it. So yeah, all right. So 2 middle of the roads and G73. Where you at, Chase?
Mine would be a thumbs down.
Thumbs down. All right. 2 middle of the roads, 1 thumbs down. The next one. And possibly the greatest music in the entire Godzilla saga of all time. I don't care what nobody says. You can take the Persecutions of the Masses, and best believe that is a great song. You can take the Godzilla March, which is the greatest, and you can turn both of them some bitches sideways and stick them straight up your candy asses, because the Mecha Godzilla theme in Godzilla vs. Mecha Godzilla 1993, let me tell you something. When I run and win the presidential election of Mars, that's going to be my theme song. That's going to be my presidential music. That's the one. Because good God Almighty.
I mean, there's a reason they put that theme in the credits of Shin Godzilla.
Because it's the best part of that whole movie. Swing, bing, out of the park. Let me tell you, when that movie starts off and you see Mecha King Ghidorah's head there, I'm like, okay, here we go. Here we go. And then just see the idea of them building Mechagodzilla off of future tech. I love it. I love it. I love the idea behind this movie. I love the idea of them introducing baby Godzilla. And he's looking like a Godzillasaurus, not some weird thing. Like a little weird doughboy. I love it. Rodan, hello! Even though it's not my favorite Rodan sub, look. It's still Rodan, and he even gets fire breath. Ladies and gentlemen, come on, man. This is the shit I live for, so I'm okay with it. And I understand that you're gonna term thunder thighs. I don't care what you say. This is one of my favorite Godzilla suits. Not my absolute favorite, but this suit with everything. And the reason why I love this movie so much is because when this movie came out, Toho was looking at Jurassic Park going, holy shit. Look at what they're doing over there with animatronics. And then they used that in Godzilla. For several shots of that movie, they gave Godzilla like legitimate emotion. And I absolutely eat that up. I love it to death. Plus, speaking of death, they killed Godzilla in the movie. So stop. There's a struggle with Mickey in this movie, which I absolutely love. She's like, should we kill Godzilla? No, we're going to kill Godzilla, and you're going to help us because you work for us. And that's the bottom line. Like, all of these things, I love it, love it, love it, love it. This is right up there, top 3 of my HEISEI series. I love it. Chase, where you at?
As a kid, I love this movie a lot. Another one of those movies that had so much Godzilla imagery in it. Just Godzilla doing a lot of cool stuff. And, of course, the Mechagodzilla theme is unmatched. But, however, as an adult, it's hard for me to watch it. This is where, again, I can't stand Godzilla's... I don't have an issue with Godzilla's design, but, like, when it transitions in the beginning, when he pops out of the ocean, and then it changes into, like, another suit, it just throws me off. It just gives me bad vibes. but and the idea of Godzilla Jr., Baby Godzilla. I liked that part a lot. I thought it was cool with him coming out of the egg and everything. But this is another movie to me that had just a lot of, I don't know, plot holes. And I just couldn't. I don't like the movies where Godzilla needs help. If something has to save Godzilla or Godzilla needs help from the humans, it just bothers me. And this was one of them where it was like, man, Rodan's the only reason why Godzilla survived. And I just, I don't know. It just didn't sit with me. And as an adult, I mean, sure, I still enjoy the film, but it's definitely not one of my favorites. It had a lot of great things. And as a kid, I enjoyed it a lot. And, I still enjoy a lot of those things. But it's just hard for me to watch as an adult. It's very difficult for me to watch it. I either get bored or I get annoyed. But however, the music's great. The scenes with Godzilla are great. Mecha Godzilla's cool. But it's just, as a movie as a whole, it doesn't sit well.
I can't believe this. I'm putting my head through a wall. Gams.
Unlike Chase over here, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2 is pretty high. I like it. It's not in my top 10, but I like it. It's again, with the Godzilla suits getting fatter and fatter. But you know what? If Japan could call American Godzilla fat, I could call this Godzilla fat, but still like it. It's pretty alright suit. The suit used for the underwater for the pool scenes, because there are two different suits. There's the suit used for the pool scenes. There's the suit used actually on land. The pool suit could have used a little more work to make it more consistent with the land suit, because the pool suit kind of has a flat face, almost got a duck bill kind of going on with it. A little weird. But other than that, it's pretty consistent, and it's not too jarring to me. Rodan is a welcome addition. I wish he was a little bigger. They made him a little too small.
A little too small
in this movie. A little too small. I like most of the characters. Pterodactyl guy was a little annoying to me, but
you're bugging. I love Aoki. I love him. One of my favorite Godzilla characters, human characters of all time.
Yeah, he's okay, but I don't know. His obsession with Pteranodons.
Come on, man. His line when he finally connects Garuda to Mechagodzilla. Super Mechagodzilla. Kate Kanyo.
Yeah, that's some good shit. That's some good shit.
Also, don't forget the engine room's on fire. Come on, man. Quotables.
This is one of the weirdest Godzilla movies in terms of the Japanese version, because, like, it's only about half Japanese. The other half of this movie, they're speaking English.
I love it.
You can watch this movie without subtitles and get the gist of it.
I love it so much, bro.
Azuz's relationship with Baby was adorable.
Right.
Absolutely adorable. And the fact that they finally gave Mickey something to do since Biollante, I appreciated that.
Oh, God. Come on.
Because in the other movies, she was just kind of there.
No, in King Ghidorah, she had to make sure that the Godzillasaurus was Godzilla.
They didn't even have to go to 1992 to do that shit, no.
She went back in time.
They didn't have to make a pit stop in 1992. That was retarded. But we're not talking about that movie.
So where do you stand with this one? I
stand that it's not like I said, it's not in my top 10. It's probably in my top 20. It's pretty high. It's a confident thumbs up from me. Good effects, decent story, great soundtrack.
Oh yeah,
great soundtrack. Akira Ifukube hits it out of the park. I don't think he's made a better soundtrack since frickin' Invasion of Astro Monster.
Yeah.
Maybe even Destroy All Monsters. Friggin'. It's such a good soundtrack. But yeah, solid thumbs up from me.
All right, so we got solid thumbs up, Top 3 for me. And Chase, thumbs down, but loves the Godzilla scenes.
No, I wouldn't say thumbs down. I would say this is my middle road.
All right, so 2 thumbs up.
Whereas I enjoyed it as a kid, I feel like if it's a movie that you're wanting to get into Godzilla, I think it's definitely one of those.
Okay.
It's just as an adult, I see through a lot of the crap that's in it, and it just, that's where I sit. So it's a middle ground. I definitely will watch it. I definitely don't dislike it.
All right. 2 thumbs up, 1 middle ground. Can't complain. Now, let's get to this one. I'm going to go real quick, real fast with this one because we're going to get to the banger. Godzilla versus Space Godzilla. Ladies and gentlemen, just that title alone, if you're a Godzilla fan, should get you wet. I don't mean to sound all nasty, son, but your pants should get tight, you get a little wet, because the title alone, Godzilla versus Space Godzilla, is such a high concept, but poor execution. I like the Godzilla suit. What can I say? I'm a sucker for fat Godzilla. I don't care what anybody says. But, and I like Margera's theme. Outside of that, Space Godzilla's design is really cool, even though it's like Super Godzilla. But I digress. Outside of that, this is my least favorite Godzilla movie. Thumbs down. Chase!
It's hard because as a kid... this is where it's different with Mechagodzilla. As a kid, I didn't like this movie. It bored me. It took a long time. And I didn't like the stuff with Space Godzilla trying to enslave Godzilla Jr. But I loved all the stuff, when them setting up the bombs on the beach and when Godzilla's coming in, stepping on the bombs and stuff like that. As a kid, though, I didn't care for it that much because it just bored me. However, as an adult, I appreciate this film a lot more than I used to. I enjoy the idea of you get that kind of closure with what happened to is it Gondo and Biollante?
Yes,
he gets killed. His sister's in it.
Great
I
point.
appreciate that. I appreciate that little closure we get, a little bit of comment we talk about. To me, because since Biollante is my favorite Godzilla movie, that segue kind of gives it more of a soft spot for me with Space Godzilla because they do that. But I also, I enjoyed, Space Godzilla was a bad villain, man. Like he was terrifying, and there was really not much they could really do. And so it took Mogera and Godzilla having to team up, quote unquote, to defeat Space Godzilla. And to me, that was interesting. And for the first time seeing Godzilla's red breath, it also terrified me as a kid. Because I didn't like his breath turning to red.
That was the second time. He does it.
What was that?
That was the second time.
Oh, that's right. Because in Mechagodzilla does it too. But to me, it was like that was right out of the blue. It wasn't because of right after Rodan, because it's blue for the most of it, and then it just goes to red. That's what really grabs me. But
I got you.
One of the things as a kid I loved a lot was actually the ending of the movie when Godzilla's going out to the ocean, and the one of the characters runs after him. He's like, "Godzilla, I'm not finished with you."
And he tries to shoot him fake finger pistol.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
To me, I like the film a lot. There's a lot of, I feel like one of the biggest complaints is just there's a lot of downtime and there's a lot of, slow spots. But to me, the film had a lot of suspension and, terror, in its theme.
Oh.
And that's what I liked a lot. There was a lot of high stakes, there's oh crap, on one hand, you have this organization trying to mind control Godzilla, who's actually a corrupt organization that kidnaps Mickey. And then you have Godzilla, who's trying to save his son. And also, you don't know if he can fight Space Godzilla because his atomic breath wasn't working at all. And there's really nothing Godzilla could do.
We're going into review territory here. Let's keep that
I know, but that's where I'm just ending it. So to me, there was a lot of, I liked that movie for what it was because there was a lot more tension and story-driven type things in this movie.
Gotcha. Well, I will say one thing about the suspension. There was a lot of suspension wire in this movie, especially in that terrible asteroid sequence. Ugh! Gams!
This movie's filler. You could skip from Mechagodzilla right to Destroyer, and you will lose nothing of value would be lost.
My God, man.
Well, you'll be confused why Junior was a little small ball, and now he's like massive.
He was hanging around Godzilla and got mutated. Bada bing, bada boom. You don't need that explained.
You know, it's kind of funny that you say that because you're absolutely right. The beginning of Destroyer kind of negates Space Godzilla completely. But I will give to Chase's credit. I do absolutely love the idea of the closure with the Gondo. You know?
Yeah, I'm not saying that this movie's completely worthless to watch. It's got some cool things in it. I love Yuki. He is such a don't give a type of attitude character. I love it. He is so nonchalant about everything, especially in the actual Japanese language, where you just hear his monotone voice throughout the whole. I love it. Yeah. He's just like, I don't care. I don't care. I still got to die.
Yuki was like the Japanese Rambo at points in that movie. He's badass.
He's great. I love him. And I mean, come on. We got glorious man-ass out of it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
That shower scene, yeah.
Oh boy, we should have ended it when you said you can totally skip because we're gonna skip that comment too.
But yeah, when it comes to the overall arc of the Heisei era, Space Godzilla adds nothing of value. But if you watch it on its own, it's pretty entertaining. I mean, the final battle drags out so long that I fall asleep almost every time.
Yeah.
But other than that, I like the characters. Mickey is given more to do than ever before. She is the main character in this movie.
Oh, and the Cosmos comes back. We can't forget that.
Yeah. And she even gains a love interest who we never see again. That's another reason why this movie's fucking filler.
I have a theory for that, but I digress for something later.
She broke up with him off screen, whatever.
So where do you put this movie? Is it thumbs down?
Yeah, it's gonna be unfortunately a thumbs down because of the lack of anything to do with the overall scope of the Heisei era. Again, this is filler, and filler is usually just a skip.
So 2 thumbs down, 1 thumbs up.
No, I'm middle ground with this one too.
All right, 2 thumbs down, 1 middle ground. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. Seriously, here we go for the next 10 to 15 minutes. And we're not reviewing this movie, we're just talking about where we stand. But if it gets a little weepy-eyed, little cracks in the voices, you must understand that this was the end of Godzilla as we know it. And ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Godzilla vs. Destroyer. 1995's absolute epic conclusion to the greatest Godzilla saga of all time. If not the greatest Godzilla story of all time. Stemming from 1954, going all the way back and picking up the pieces from that and utilizing a brand new way to create a giant monster called Destroyer because it was a remnant. Oh my God. Okay, I'm just going to say it right now. I tell you right now, it's not my all-time favorite HEISEI movie. This is top 5 Godzilla movies in general. Absolutely. But it is absolutely, without a doubt, number 1 when it comes to the greatest Godzilla sequences, if not the greatest Godzilla sequence of all time. And that is the fucking ending of this movie. Godzilla going and melting down. I love this movie so much. I really, really do. There's so much in this movie I love. I love the callback to 54. I love the idea of trying to create a new oxygen destroyer. I love the idea that the oxygen destroyer brought back to life these microorganisms. And I love the idea that Godzilla has now absorbed so much radiation, especially from Madonna Island, from Space Godzilla, that he's going nuclear, legit nuclear, and Godzilla has never looked better. Now, I love all the Godzilla suits from the HEISEI saga. This one ain't my favorite, but this is definitely number 2. Definitely, it gotta be. And I know, well, number 2, number 3, because I do love that the silhouettes of Mothra. I mean, the Godzilla suit from Mothra and the silhouette from '84. Those are top notch. Can't touch them. But this suit, the burning Godzilla, the way it looked, it's just fantastic. And then again, the end of this movie was the end of a series. And again, where I'm from in that timeline, where I'm at, seeing this, knowing, what do you mean this is the end of Godzilla? Say no more, I never thought we'd see another Godzilla movie ever again. And it is, by far, without a doubt, the most emotional Godzilla movie. And one of the best scored Godzilla movies. This one right here hits every single button. And yeah, and they even went for it. They, like, if you think about it, what other franchise that you know straight up said, we're gonna kill the main character. We gotta kill Godzilla. This is how it ends.
Jason Goes to Hell.
No, shut up! That doesn't even count. That don't even count. You're bugging with that shit. This was it. And I absolutely love this movie. This one gets 2 severe thumbs up. Chase.
Oh, man. This movie... it's hard because there's not much to this movie that I do like. But what I do like is the emphasis on the emotions. The whole final sequence of this movie takes the cake for all of it. Of course, the Destroyer as a whole. The idea of Destroyer being this living thing throughout the whole, franchise of Godzilla's universe, but hasn't made a presence till now, is terrifying. So I loved that. Destroyer as a whole, Destroyer as a monster. I love Destroyer, but I wish there was more emphasis. I mean, I don't know. That's just me. I just wish Destroyer had more of a time to shine in that movie. But Godzilla as a whole, Burning Godzilla, that's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite looks for him. I think he looks great when he's on fire. Menacing. And it's also very dangerous. There's a lot of interesting scenes in that movie that had to deal with Godzilla and Junior. Like I love the beach scene where they're all at the beach and Junior pops out of the ocean and they're all like, it's Godzilla. I love that. But for the most part, there's not really much in this movie that I care for. Now, I did like Serizawa's family, his grandson or something like that, being in it. And he's trying to make, they come to him for the oxygen destroyer and all the history of Godzilla's family. I dig that. But it's not until the very, final battle where, Destroyer kills Junior. And then Godzilla comes and finds that his son's dead and then goes in a rage, fights Destroyer. And then they're like, oh, we have to do this. We have to freeze Godzilla.
Time out real quick. Time out real quick. Did I miss something in translation? Do you watch the Japanese dub or you watch the English dub?
I have the English dub.
They say that's Serizawa's family? Because that's Dr. Yamani's family.
Oh, well, I just assumed it was Serizawa's family because he had a lot of knowledge of Serizawa.
Oh, no. The scientist?
Yeah, the kid. The kid with the glasses?
No, that's Dr. Yamani's, grandson or something like that.
Well, I just assumed it was Serizawa's family. Yeah. I never, picked on any of that. But, anyways, the final, up to the whole final factor of it, when Godzilla's melting down and, they have to freeze him and stuff like that, that's just an emotional staple. And as a kid, I would not watch Godzilla versus Destroyer because of that. I did not want to see Godzilla die. And so I avoided that movie for quite a while. I wouldn't watch it. And, but learning of just everything with Junior being revived with radiation and stuff like that and all of that stuff as an adult when I got back into watching Godzilla movies, I appreciate that movie so much more now than I did as a kid. And, it has it's the most memorable Godzilla ending
Absolutely.
you will ever see.
Gams.
Meh. The ending's alright. The ending's emotional. Everything else, meh. The aliens ripoff, eh.
Oh,
Destroyer's final form suit, stiff as shit. The little animatronic puppet of Godzilla Jr. When you got that wide shot of Godzilla's communicating with Jr., that little puppet, awful. The story with the human characters is meh. I appreciate that they brought back Emiko's actress for her little cameo, but that's all it amounts to is a cameo. The story about the JSDF scrambling to stop Godzilla's meltdown is pretty bare bones. JSDF versus Godzilla. Mickey losing her powers is literally only brought up once and then never mentioned again. Like, where was that plot point going? Nowhere.
She was in tune to Godzilla. It happened in Biollante when she did the thing, and you see that one sequence, which is a great shot, by the way, in Biollante.
Yeah, that's when her powers were strong.
No, and then all of a sudden it was like a psychic connection. So when Godzilla is dying, so is her power. So is a connection. Because from that point on, all she knew was locating Godzilla.
Yeah, but like literally, she brought up the fact that she was losing her powers, and then, never again is that brought up again. She just uses her powers normally throughout the rest of the movie.
Is it normally, or is she losing it? Because at the end of the movie, she's like, "It's it, I'm done."
Prove it.
Godzilla's dead.
She does weep and cry and say goodbye, Godzilla, and that one of the main reasons she's with that other woman is because she's also ESP equipped.
And that woman, Meru, is the one that notices that Junior's awakening. It's all there.
Yeah,
they show
and they both rely on each other to have a stronger connection for.
Listen, I think you're grasping at straws because you want to be like, it's really not that big of a deal, when you know for a fact this is that big of a deal. But I get it.
It is the Revenge of the Sith of Godzilla movies.
And Revenge of the Sith is a very good Star Wars movie.
It's almost 2 hours of squandered character development and subpar effects worse. But the last 5 minutes lure you into a false sense of security that makes you think that the movie was good.
Good God Almighty, did you just review Shin Godzilla? Because that's exactly what it sounded like. That's exactly what it sounded like. I cannot believe you just did. Why would you do that? Oh my God, I can't believe it. You see what I'm saying? You just reviewed Shin Godzilla.
No, you.
Exactly my point. Exactly my point. Okay, so we got me, totally 2 thumbs up. We got Gam, thumbs down, or thumbs halfway. I don't know where he wants to go with that one. He likes Shin Godzilla, but he don't like Shin Godzilla. I don't get it. And,
listen here now, I love Shin Godzilla.
And of course, G73 was like, where you at again, G73? Where you at,
I'm a thumbs up, but it's not the greatest Godzilla movie.
You appreciated it over time.
Yeah, well, no, that ending alone is the reason why.
See, if all y'all
I give it a thumbs up.
If all y'all can talk about is the ending, then what?
I'm not. Well, because we're not reviewing
it's not a review,
right? We're not reviewing this. When we get to the review and you want to break it down, we're gonna break it down because we're gonna get there. But right now, it's just this. This is how I felt. This is what this movie meant.
I'm looking at the overall picture, and I just get meh.
Right, and I get it. But when the way you just described it was exactly what Shin Godzilla was.
No, it's not. You're wrong.
Thank you. You're proved
wrong.
our point. And that will do it for this episode of the G Show Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank my guest.
I'm going to fight back so much.
I want to thank my guest for being on the show tonight. He thought he was going to get a leg up. You can't get a leg up on this old dog, brother. I already pissed on you. Gam Z1, thank you for joining me, my brother. Come on, Gam. I love you, brother. Thank you for joining us.
Man.
Come on. I love you. Brother Chase, thank you for joining us.
I say back.
Absolutely.
And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on our part 2 edition of Godzilla's 65th anniversary, the HEISEI. Please join us because you don't want to miss when we get into part 3, the Millennium Series. My God, are we going to erupt? I can't wait. They can't wait. We out of here. Peace.